Welcome back to the deep dive. So, today we've got something really different on the table. Forget the usual research papers or, market data. Our source today is pure drama, high-stakes dialogue. We're doing a forensic literary analysis, really digging into the script for the Twilight's End 2025 Season 3 cinematic.
Yeah, it's an amazing example of narrative density, just a few lines, really charged lines, and they sketch out this vast cosmic backdrop. You get existential threats, implied history, a whole world teetering on the brink. It's all packed in there.
Absolutely. And for you listening, our mission today is pretty clear.
Yeah.
We're going to pull apart this dialogue, just the words themselves, to figure out the backstory. What massive crisis led to this moment? What are the stakes? Who are these figures?
Exactly. We're treating this confrontation like an archaeological find, a shard of dialogue that tells a whole story. We need to synthesize who's talking, what the rules of their reality actually are, mentions of gods, mortals, the veil, and why everything feels so incredibly desperate. It's all about this confirmed massive failure that seems to have already happened.
It's more than just an argument, isn't it? It feels like an exposition dump, but it's disguised as this really intense personal conflict. Okay, let's dive in. Section 1 feels like it's all about authority, or maybe the breakdown of authority. Yeah, we drop right into it. No preamble, just boom, conflict. And the first lines really set the stage. We hear this accusation, "You do not belong here, Seneschal."
Right. Immediate hierarchy established, and then the justification. Mortals should not meddle with the power of gods.
Okay, so let's unpack that. First, Seneschal. That's not just a random name. What does that title tell us?
Well, historically, a seneschal isn't the top dog. They're a high-ranking official, yeah, but usually a steward. Someone managing things for a lord or a king, or maybe, in this case, for the gods themselves.
So this isn't just some outsider breaking in. This is potentially an insider, someone with delegated authority.
Precisely, which makes the accusation, "You do not belong here," even heavier. It's not just trespassing, it's potentially, exceeding your mandate. Profoundly, and the word they use is meddling.
Yeah, meddling. That feels dismissive, doesn't it? Like, you don't understand what you're doing. You're playing with forces beyond your grasp.
Exactly. It implies these are powers designated for a specific class, the gods, and this mortal, the seneschal, is using them inappropriately, dangerously. It suggests a strict cosmic order has been violated.
Which points to either incredible arrogance on the seneschal's part, or maybe incredible desperation. They have to meddle because the gods aren't handling things.
That seems to be the core tension. Is it hubris, or is it necessity born from failure of the superiors? And that leads right into the seneschal's counter. It's brilliant.
Oh yeah. Instead of defending the meddling, they question the accusers themselves. Is that what you are? Gods.
A direct challenge to their legitimacy. It completely reframes the situation. The seneschal isn't just a disobedient mortal. They're potentially calling out false gods.
So are these beings actual gods who failed? Or maybe something else entirely? Powerful, ancient, but maybe not divine.
That's the ambiguity, isn't it? They could be fallen gods, weakened entities clinging to past glory. Or maybe they're just incredibly powerful beings who've claimed divinity to maintain control. Either way, the seneschal is implying their authority, their right to set these rules about meddling isn't absolute, or at least it shouldn't be anymore.
And that
could be. Perhaps they saw the seneschal, or something the seneschal possesses, as the key to solving the crisis their way. But the seneschal is refusing that role. "I am not your answer." Sounds like I won't be used for your failed strategies. I have my own plan. It's the declaration of independence, really.
Independence born from, seeing those strategies fail, right?
Yeah.
Which connects to those really grim lines about the past.
The lines that define the whole conflict's history. Only evil deferred.
Followed immediately by that absolute statement. Evil does not relinquish power.
That pairing is devastating. It tells us everything we need to know about the past victories. They weren't victories at all, just pauses, intermissions, whatever happened before, whatever great deeds were done, maybe even by the seneschal. As we learn later, it didn't solve the fundamental problem.
So the evil they fought is patient, persistent. It just waits.
Seems like it. Evil does not relinquish power. It implies an inherent, unchanging nature to the threat. You can beat it back, you can wound it, maybe even make it dormant for a while, but you can't eradicate it using the old ways. This worldview, this understanding, completely justifies the seneschal's desperate, forbidden actions.
Right. If the gods' methods only lead to deferral, and the cost of that deferral is immense, then breaking the rules to find a permanent solution starts to look almost rational.
It's the logic of someone who believes the entire system, the entire hierarchy upheld by these gods, is fundamentally flawed because it cannot deliver final victory. It's built to fail cyclically.
And if the system is broken, you have to go outside the system, which seems to lead the seneschal to seek knowledge from, well, somewhere truly outside, somewhere forbidden.
Exactly. And that brings us to this concept of the veil.
Okay, so the conversation shifts here. It moves from challenging the god's authority to the source of the seneschal's own forbidden knowledge. And it centers on this idea of the veil.
We get that line, "You must have known you could not hide forever," which is intriguing. But then the absolute rule is stated, no one returns from beyond the veil.
The veil. In stories like this, that usually means what? The border between life and death, reality and chaos, sanity, and something else.
It's always a major boundary, the ultimate frontier. And the key part is no one returns. It implies that crossing it is inherently destructive or transformative in a way that prevents coming back. It's a one-way trip.
Which makes the seneschal's next statement just a bombshell.
Right. I have seen beyond the veil.
So this individual hasn't just broken a rule. They've broken a fundamental law of their cosmos. They went to the place of no return. And returned.
And that changes everything. It means they possess knowledge or perhaps have undergone a change that defies the established reality. They've looked into the abyss, whatever it is, and brought something back.
What do you make of that hiding line then? You could not hide forever.
Yeah.
Were they literally hiding behind the veil?
Possibly. Or maybe hiding the fact that they'd been there, hiding the knowledge they gained. If seeing beyond the veil gives you some terrible, crucial insight, maybe that's what they were concealing.
The knowledge itself is the dangerous thing.
Could be. Maybe the knowledge is corrupting, or maybe it reveals a truth the gods want suppressed. If you've seen how the universe really works or how the enemy really operates, that makes you incredibly dangerous to the status quo. I lean towards them hiding the knowledge, the implications of what they saw. Their desperation isn't just emotional. It's informed by firsthand experience of whatever lies beyond.
And that experience seems to have shown them the sheer scale of the disaster, which leads into probably the most tragic statement in the whole exchange.
Yeah, this is the core of the confirmed failure. The seneschal says they watched as the spirit of the first lands roared to life.
Okay, spirit of the first lands, that sounds primal, foundational, like the ultimate power source of their world, maybe.
It certainly sounds that way. Not just an army or a magic shield, but the essence of the world itself, its primordial life force, perhaps. And it roared to life. A moment of ultimate hope, of final defense. The biggest gun they had.
And then?
Only to see it all burned away in an instant.
In an instant. That's the killer phrase. Not a struggle, not a drawn-out battle, just gone. Erased.
It tells you everything about the enemy's power. It's not just superior. It's operating on a completely different scale or principle. It negates their ultimate defense effortlessly, like switching off a light.
Wow. So if the very spirit of the land can be snuffed out instantly,
yeah,
what hope is there through conventional means?
Exactly none. It suggests the enemy might be pure entropy or anti-creation or something that simply unmakes reality. It elevates the stakes beyond comprehension. They're not fighting an invader. They're fighting something that makes existence itself fragile.
Which, again, circles back to justifying the seneschal's actions. If your reality can be deleted like that, playing by the old rules is suicide. You need something equally absolute, something maybe learned from beyond the veil.
And this isn't just a theoretical threat anymore. The seneschal confirms the immediate practical consequences. They give this devastating status report.
Yeah, it's brutal. Just a list of total failure. Unara has fallen.
Okay, Unara. Sounds like a major city, maybe the capital, a stronghold. Its fall means the loss of the central hub, the population center, nowhere safe to gather.
And the temple's defenses are destroyed.
The temples. If the gods are real, or at least powerful entities, their temples would be centers of power, protection, sacred sites. Their defenses being destroyed means the spiritual or magical infrastructure is gone. The gods' own safeguards have failed.
And the final nail. There is no one left.
Just utter finality. The armies, the resistance, the civilians, all gone. It confirms total operational collapse. The seneschal isn't exaggerating. They're likely the last significant agent capable of doing anything.
So they've seen the unseeable. learned the unthinkable, witnessed the ultimate power fail instantly, and returned to find their entire civilization functionally erased.
Yeah, that's the context for their desperate plea. They aren't asking for permission anymore. They're stating the reality and demanding the right to enact the only solution they see left, however terrible it might be.
Which brings us to the really thorny part, the nature of that solution and its cost.
Exactly. The gods, or whoever they are, seem to recognize the seneschal isn't going to be deterred by talk of rules anymore. So the argument shifts to the consequences of the seneschal's plan.
We get that line. Your power will darken the world, with or without your permission. That's heavy. Whose power are they talking about?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Is it the enemy's power? Are they saying, look, the darkness is coming anyway, your actions won't stop it, they'll just add to it, making the seneschal's plan seem futile?
Or are they talking about the seneschal's own power, the power they intend to use?
That feels more likely, given the earlier meddling accusation. They seem to be warning that the forbidden power the seneschal wants to unleash, maybe the power derived from beyond the veil, is inherently destructive or corrupting.
So even if it stops the primary enemy, it stains the world, leaves its own darkness behind.
Precisely. It's like using a bioweapon to stop an invasion. You might win, but the cost is catastrophic contamination. The gods are essentially saying the cure is as bad as the disease.
Which presents this awful dilemma: destruction by the enemy, or a different kind of destruction wrought by the savior using forbidden means.
It frames the conflict not just as good versus evil, but maybe as one form of annihilation versus another. A truly unwinnable choice from the gods' perspective.
And the seneschal's response to this warning: complete conviction, you know not what you ask, versus I know exactly what I ask.
That exchange is pure defiance based on knowledge. The gods say, you don't understand the cost. Seneschal replies, oh, I understand it perfectly, better than you do, because I've seen what lies beyond the veil, and I've seen Yunara fall. This is the cost, and I accept it.
It's the certainty of someone who believes they have seen the only path forward, no matter how terrible, and they justify this certainty by reminding everyone of their history.
Yes, that incredibly poignant line. You sacrificed everything to save this world once. Let me do the same.
Wow. Okay, so this confirms it. The seneschal isn't just some functionary. They are a proven hero, a figure who has already paid the ultimate price.
Sacrificed everything. We have to pause on that. What does everything mean in this context? Their life, their family, their home, their very nature. Maybe they lost their mortality or gained some terrible burden from that first sacrifice.
Whatever it was total. And now they're using that past sacrifice as like collateral, as proof they understand the stakes and are willing to pay again.
It's an incredibly powerful emotional appeal. I did this before for a temporary fix, now let me do it again, presumably using this new, forbidden knowledge for a chance at a real fix, even if it darkens the world or destroys me utterly.
They're essentially saying that self-destruction, total self-immolation, is the only currency left that might buy survival. It's bleak.
Utterly bleak. And it puts the gods in an impossible position. How do you refuse the one person who has already paid the price and claims to know the only way, especially when your own methods have demonstrably failed?
But just as this philosophical and emotional climax is reached, the reality of the situation crashes in. The debate runs out of time.
Yeah, that sudden shift in tone, the panic in the voice. I cannot hold him.
Suddenly it's not theoretical anymore. The threat isn't looming. It's here. It's breaking through whatever containment existed.
Him, that pronoun is interesting. It makes the threat personal, specific. Not just the darkness or the enemy, but a specific entity, maybe the main one or a powerful lieutenant, is physically present and overwhelming them right now.
The time for debate is over. The catastrophe is happening in the room with them.
Which leads to that final cryptic line hanging in the air amidst the chaos. Even demons can be undone.
Okay, what do we make of that? Who is saying it and what does it mean?
Two main possibilities, I think. One, if it's the being who's failing to hold him, it could be a last gasp of defiance. A reminder maybe to the seneschal or just to the universe that even this overwhelming entity isn't invincible. There's still a chance of vulnerability to exploit. Maybe that's what the seneschal learned beyond the veil.
A sliver of hope in the face of annihilation.
Right. Or the second possibility, what if it's aimed at the seneschal? A warning. You're about to unleash something demonic, something monstrous using this forbidden power. But remember, even you, even the necessary demon you're becoming, can be stopped later.
Like a promise of future reckoning. We'll let you do this now because we have to, but don't think we won't deal with you afterwards.
Exactly. It could be the gods setting the stage for the next conflict, even as this one reaches its peak. The Seneschal saves the world, but becomes the next threat to be undone. It adds another layer of tragedy to their sacrifice.
Either way, it's a powerful, ambiguous ending to the exchange, leaving us right on the edge of this massive, one-altering event.
Yeah.
Hashtag tag outro. Okay, well, let's try and synthesize that. We took, maybe a dozen lines of dialogue? And from that, we've basically reconstructed an entire world on the brink.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. We've got challenged gods whose authority is crumbling, evidence of past failures where victory was just evil deferred.
We have a hero figure, the Seneschal, who has already sacrificed everything once.
And who has gained forbidden knowledge from beyond the veil, a place no one is supposed to return from.
Knowledge gained possibly because the ultimate power of their world, this spirit of the First Lands, was just instantly annihilated.
Confirming the enemy's power is absolute, immediate. And then the practical reality. Unara fallen, temples destroyed, no one left.
Yeah.
Total collapse.
Leading to this final, desperate plea to use a power that even the gods fear will darken the world, justified by past sacrifice and forbidden knowledge.
What really stands out to me is the sheer completeness of the defeat described. It's not a setback, it's annihilation. The in an instant destruction, the no one left confirmation, it removes all conventional options.
Right, and that forces the conflict into this moral gray zone. The cost of the only potential solution offered by the Seneschal might be just another kind of catastrophe.
It highlights the terrible price of success in this world and the incredibly low probability of achieving even that. The Seneschal isn't choosing between good and bad options. They're choosing between extinction and a potentially corrupted survival.
And for you listening, this is a masterclass in narrative efficiency, right? How conflict is built by defining those lines, mortal versus God, known versus forbidden, and then showing what happens when desperation forces someone to cross them. You really feel the weight of this impending twilight.
Absolutely. We've gone from just hearing an argument to understanding the deep history, the cosmic rules, the catastrophic failure, and the terrifying personal stakes driving the Seneschal.
So we'll leave you with this to chew on. The Seneschal says, I know exactly what I ask when demanding to sacrifice everything again. What could they possibly have seen or learned beyond the veil? What truth about the enemy or reality or the gods themselves could make that ultimate world-darkening sacrifice seem not just necessary, but the only sane, rational path forward?
That specific unknown knowledge is the terrifying heart of it all. What makes oblivion preferable to the alternative, or self-destruction the only tool left?
Something to think about. That's all the time we have for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.